Hi, it's Katrina. From a hidden alien city to a nightmare creature from the deep, here are 10 of the creepiest and craziest discoveries from the sea. Number 10. Hidden Alien City. A video recently released by the U.S. Navy appears to show an unidentified flying object diving into the ocean off the coast of San Diego, California. Officials have confirmed the footage as authentic. These videos can be interpreted many ways since we don't have a lot of information, but this sighting has led some to believe there may be an underwater alien base nearby. The footage shows a spherical object flying above the water before stopping and slowly disappearing beneath the waves. The footage was recorded off a monitor inside the USS Omaha's Combat Information Center, and a few military members can be heard remarking on the object in the video, talking about it. There was no wreckage or evidence of any kind once it splashed through the surface of the water. Now, according to alien hunters from UFO Sightings Daily, they have discovered an alien base underwater near Mexico, estimated to be about 76 miles long. Apparently, this could be the reason why so many UFOs are sighted over the country. Perhaps it's because they have a base just 45 miles from the coast. The UFO search team was looking at Google Earth when they spotted a series of straight lines and lumps underwater that they believe are 100% made by an intelligent being other than humans. There also appears to be a gaping hole of complete blackness that could be the entrance to the base. It almost looks like the yawning door of some secret mountain facility, only it's underwater. As of now, nobody has actually gone down to explore what this structure might be. Since the release of documents by the U.S. government regarding what they call UAP, or Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, many are saying the structures should be explored using remotely controlled underwater drones, but it hasn't happened yet. So far, explanations of the UAP sightings vary from drones to weather balloons or new technology from China or Russia. In any case, the government is taking a more open approach to these sightings to raise awareness about possible security threats. As for what this structure might be under the ocean, we probably won't know for many years, if ever. Number 9. Glowing ocean tubes. Scientists are always amazed when they encounter this giant glowing tube in the ocean. It's actually a living creature, and perhaps one of the strangest creatures around. It's also one of the biggest, measuring up to 60 feet long. It looks like some sort of floating ghost or spectral entity, but in reality, it's known as a pyrosome. It has no teeth, no eyes, no fins. It has nothing that makes it look like an actual animal. Instead, it's literally just a tube of glowing light, cylindrical and iridescent. How does it breathe or move or even exist? The enormous pyrosome is actually formed by thousands or millions of tiny creatures together in a colony. Also referred to as Colonial Tunicates, they are shaped like a tunnel except one side is closed off. They may look enormous and scary, but they are no threat to humans. However, biologists warn you should never try to swim inside one. Gowlett-Holmes of Cicero Marine Research in Australia reports finding a 6.5-foot-long pyrosome with a dead penguin trapped inside. The penguin apparently suffocated inside the pyrosome, unable to escape. Pyrosomes are so rare that marine researcher Rebecca Helm referred to them once as the unicorns of the sea. Completely improbable and utterly mysterious. They are similar to coral reefs in that many polyps come together and combine exoskeletons into one giant mass. The pyrosome is made up of many tiny creatures called zooids. They link together, joining their tissue, and constantly filter the water to eat plankton, jetting out the water as they go to propel themselves. They eventually form these giant tubes floating listlessly through the ocean. To add to their mystery is the fact they are also bioluminescent, and when one zooid decides to light up, so do the ones around it. Light from one colony will cause another colony to light up as if they were communicating with each other. Number 8. Submerged French weapons. A collection of terrifying weapons and other maritime equipment has recently been salvaged from a creepy shipwreck off the coast of Florida. But this wasn't just one shipwreck. It was actually 3 vessels that sank sometime around the 16th century and created a giant field of debris underwater, filled with strange artifacts. The weapons were discovered by Global Marine Exploration Inc., an underwater archaeology company. The artifacts probably came from a group of Protestants fleeing religious persecution in France, though the vessels themselves may not have been of French origin. Some of the best artifacts discovered from the wreckage include ornate bronze cannons, heaps of munition, a whole pile of anchors, and one grinding wheel. Archaeologists also uncovered a French coat of arms from the early colonial period. Workers were able to date the shipwrecks thanks to a marking on the side of one of the cannons. The marking was from the reign of King Henry II of France, back in 1548. Archaeologists have speculated that these ships were actually from either England or Spain, and that their crews had taken cargo from Florida originally brought by French settlers, the ones who were escaping persecution. Many French people were fleeing France at the time because of escalations in the hostility between the Catholic Church and the Protestants. This was actually the beginning of the French Wars of Religion, which devastated France for 35 years. Number 7. The Sunken Leg. A teenager named Sebastian and his father were looking for treasure in the Gulf of Mexico. They strapped on their diving equipment and dove into the murky depths, and that was when they discovered something altogether creepy. They found what at first seemed to be a person's forgotten leg. Sebastian was the one to spot it first. He saw a leather strap waving in the water and something stuck in the sand. It took him about 10 minutes to pull out the strange object from the bottom, at which point he realized he was holding on to somebody's leg. Of course, it wasn't a real leg in the traditional sense, but somebody's prosthetic. Sebastian and his father hauled the leg onto their boat and decided what they were going to do with the weird artifact. In the end, they agreed to try and find the owner of the lost leg. It seemed like an impossible task, but they would try it anyway. Sebastian and his father made a Facebook page for the leg, uploaded a photo, where and when it was discovered, and then they sat back and waited. It didn't take long before Carter Hess, a veteran who had lost his leg and taken to surfing using his prosthetic, was alerted to the discovery. He reached out to Sebastian and his father, and just days later, the pair met at a beach restaurant and the leg was returned to its rightful owner. A spooky discovery turned into a heartwarming reunion. Number 6. The Black Scabbard Fish. The black scabbard fish is one of the creepiest deepwater predators anywhere in the ocean. It lives at a depth of around 5,500 feet, but has been known to migrate even deeper into the ocean, veiled in utter darkness. This is not a fish you want to meet in the wild, as it has teeth like sharpened icicles and a voracious hunger that could lead to a person's arm being bitten clean off. The black scabbard fish looks like a deepwater eel with black skin so dark and slimy and slick it could be soaked in ink. It has huge bulging eyes and a protruding lower jaw. Because of how deep the black scabbard fish lives, it's pretty rare for someone to find one, let alone catch it at the end of your fishing line. But the fish is also a delicacy in Portugal, and there are some fishermen who use special deep water lines to catch it. Would you be adventurous enough to try it? Let me know in the comments below. And now for a spooky town. But first, want to give a big shout out to Tanya Evans and Chris Hadwin. Thanks so much for supporting this channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and join the Origins Explained family. We'd love to have you. Number 5. Secret Underwater Town. Something unbelievable has been discovered underwater, and it made conspiracy theorists go crazy. The discovery was made off the coast of Florida in the Gulf of Mexico, near a popular tourist destination called Snapper Ledge Reef. It's been described as a secret underwater town, and it's nothing short of creepy. Tables, chairs, antennas, and other mysterious artifacts populate the strange underwater venue. Nobody was immediately sure how it got there, or what its purpose was, but it was apparently discovered using Google Earth. Some have speculated that the town could have been built by underwater humans, aka mermaids. After all, it's not like ordinary fish need antennae to get a Wi-Fi signal. If not mermaids or some breed of sea people, just who exactly is all the furniture in this submerged town there for? Unfortunately, the truth is far less shocking than the speculation. The underwater town was actually built as a coral nursery to help ocean life regenerate after the devastating coral bleaching that has been going on off the coast of Florida. Coral bleaching is destroying huge patches of coral all the way from Florida to Australia, and this coral nursery is one way that marine biologists are trying to help the ocean to heal. Number 4. The Thing with 8 Jaws. An utterly terrifying new species of sea monster has just been discovered, and it's frightening enough to give you nightmares. The creature looks like something straight out of H.P. Lovecraft's darkest fantasy, like a monster from another dimension. It was found thanks to researchers with the French Natural History Museum, about 1,600 feet beneath the surface of the ocean, 120 miles from New Caledonia. The creature was located on top of a seamount, what's essentially an underwater mountain. It has an array of tentacles with hooks on the ends and dozens of razor-sharp teeth inside its mouth. It also has 8 separate jaws to rip and tear its prey more easily. This is a one-of-a-kind species of brittle star, the most violent and terrifying ocean star you'll ever encounter. It's officially named Ophiojura, and it's reminiscent of the monsters that used to live during prehistoric eras. It's not exactly a starfish, as brittle stars are only distantly related to starfish. They hang out on the seafloor and live a life of constant eating. Each of its 8 jaws has rows of sharp teeth which it uses to snare its prey. Think about a bear trap, but there are 8 of them hooked together, ready to crush anything that accidentally gets too close. But where did such a strange animal come from? DNA evidence suggests that Ophiojura evolved about 180 million years ago, around the end of the Triassic and the beginning of the Jurassic, when dinosaurs still roamed the land. The nightmarish brittle star has remained the same, untouched by evolution, ever since. Number 3. The whiskey fish. A fisherman got the surprise of his life when he caught a large fish. But it wasn't the fish itself that was that exciting. It was what was inside the fish. A video on TikTok is showing a fisherman pulling his catch onto his boat, where he drops it on a table and starts to cut it open. He was gutting the innards of the fish when he noticed something rather strange about its stomach. It was unusually hard, so the fisherman quickly cut out the organs to see what the fish was hiding. As it turned out, the fish had an entire bottle of unopened Fireball whiskey inside its belly. Because it was revealed on TikTok, some have accused the fisherman of faking the entire thing by putting the bottle of whiskey there himself. But at the same time, it is possible that the bottle fell off someone's boat and the fish swallowed it, thinking it was food. After all, it wouldn't be the first time a fish was caught eating something it shouldn't have. Number 2. Sea lion cancer. Scientists at the Marine Mammal Center near San Francisco have come across a horrible and tragic phenomenon going on in the ocean. For the past 20 years, these scientists have been trying to understand why California sea lions have the highest rates of cancer of any marine mammal on the planet. To give you an idea of just how many sea lions are coming down with cancer, it's about 25% of the adult population. But get ready to be creeped out, because between 2005 and 2015, that 25% of adult sea lions was discovered with a urogenital carcinoma directly linked to the herpes virus. But until just recently, scientists couldn't figure out why these sea lions were coming down with this disease. Recent evidence has shed light on the mystery. Scientists now know the sea lions have been exposed to toxic pollutants that began being dumped off the southern coast of California in the 1940s. By the time the barrels of toxic waste stopped being dumped into the ocean in the 1970s, it was too late. All these years later, the chemicals are still decimating the sea lion population. The area in which the barrels were dumped happens to be where 90% of sea lions are born. As of right now, scientists see no way to stop the trend and save the sea lions from cancer. Number 1. The Singapore shipwreck. Off the coast of Singapore, archaeologists have found a creepy shipwreck over 200 years old. According to the National Heritage Board, the wreck was found off Pedra Branca, a rocky outcrop in the ocean east of Singapore. Divers accidentally came across ceramic plates, and this led them to the wreckage. It had probably been carrying Chinese ceramics for trade back in the 14th century, when Singapore was known as Temasek. This was a pretty significant find for archaeologists, as they were able to confirm Singapore's importance as a trading hub way before the British ever arrived to colonize it in 1819. But the discovery didn't end with one shipwreck. A second was found nearby and identified as a merchant vessel constructed in India that sank in 1796 while returning home from China. The second wreckage revealed even more fascinating artifacts such as anchors and cannons. These cannons were what helped the British Empire to expand in Asia during the 18th century and were usually mounted onto merchant ships used by the famed East India Trading Company. There is not much left of the actual ships, other than some creepy wooden hulls left on the rocks, like the broken rib cages of sea monsters. Thanks for watching! What's your favorite ocean discovery? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to hit that subscribe button and come back soon for more videos like these. See you later!